some part of shoe houses because I like that purple. My next fairy house, which will be, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going to be fairy house number 6. Number 6 is going to be a shoe fairy house. So yeah, let's look at some pictures. Oh, kind of like this with the little balcony. I definitely want to be able to try to achieve making some shoelaces in it. Not sure how I'm going to do that, but do have an idea in mind on how to make shoelaces. Oh, this was cute with all the old lady with all the kids. A woman in the shoe, I guess. Not sure if I want a big heel on it or not. So, yeah, just kind of a basic shape like this. Oh yeah, kind of like this. Have my door, window up there, the roof, little chimney on top. Here we go, it is with basically the same thing with it in drawings. And let's see if I can kind of make something like that, metallic metal looking. So, oh yeah, this is just like there's a cute little tree house. Yeah, a lot of cute. Oh, look at this one. Oh, here it is. This is the one. Yeah, this looks good. Whoop. Don't know what happened. Lost my pictures. Accidentally clicked. This is the one I was wanting. Yeah. Boot Clear House. Yeah. I think this is kind of what I want to do. Like those slats up there. Lots of flowers. Yeah. I might even try to make a little old lady fairy. I think definitely this is the one. Okay, going to start building up my next fairy house, which is going to be a fairy shoe house. I'm thinking about using this green bottle, which will give it a little bit different glow when I put the battery candlelight battery candle in it, and use the bottles to make my basic shape. And you know, this box will be the roof, this is going to be the base. Double it up. Of course I'll cut it out so that little tea-light battery candle can go in it. I have these pieces of plastic to help with, on the top, make some windows in it. So yeah, this will be my fairy house project number 6, a shoe fairy house. So I'm gonna get started. Well, slowly getting my frame together for making the shoe house. I swear I've made more little pieces of cardboard, I think, on this project than any that I've had before with making my windows and doors. Actually, this will be the front side of it with the steps, and there's a door that'll go in here. And I'm cutting to make like shingles that'll go on the roof. So, yeah, got my shape. I was going to put on this front window, I was going to make a balcony, but I'm afraid if I make the balcony, I don't know, I really wanted to test my skill at trying to make the shoelaces. I guess there would still be, I started my shoelaces like right here, still enough room for the shoelaces and a balcony too. Yeah, I think there will be. So still I'm just slowly cutting out my windows and getting them hooked on. I did make it with a hill and the hole under here that the candle's going to go in, and some steps. So I got to do a window here, door here, another window on this side, and then the 2 windows up on the top. I'm not going to do like a chimney on the roof, just the roof, because I'm going to have the balcony with some flower boxes in the balcony. So that's where I am. Like I said, I have really made a lot of cut and mess with this one. More so than any of the ones I've done before. I just have to pick all these little pieces up. So anyway, here we go. Okay, I've got my roof finished up here, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to have some shoelaces down here. We're going to have like the balcony right here, but I still have enough room because I wanted to try. So here's what I have come up with. Excuse me, got a little frog in my throat. I actually rolled some aluminum foil up, and I'm going to be poking it in these holes to make like the shoelaces. So I'm going to work on those and see how that actually turns out. I actually have this kind of flexible cordboard, and I made the sides that are going to come around and fold. So let me see if I can get my X's made. Okay, that's good work to give me enough height and texture that when I go over it with the paper clay, it'll still show up. The balcony is going to go right like this. I'm not sure. Where is it? I did a bow, but I'm not sure if it'll show up with the balcony on there. Maybe I'll put the balcony and put the bow into there. Or maybe just no bow. Just the shoelaces. Because I don't think there's going to be enough room to have a balcony and a bow. So I made the bow for nothing. Oh well. So, but yeah, that's going to give me enough height and texture that when I cover it with the clay, it'll show up, I hope. And then of course painting. Oh, and I've got a whole new painting technique thinking about doing on it. So, yeah. Here's where I'm at on the Shoe Fairy house. It really doesn't look like much right now with all the masking tape around it. It's just a basic frame. This is one of the most intricate ones that I've made yet with trying to make the crisscross. When I come back with my paper mache clay, it's going to be something else to see how I can get all of these vines that I'm putting on here. I already have some flowers that I made out of air dry clay, the store-bought Crayon brand air dry clay in those silicone molds that I made, and all that I'll probably be putting around here on the vines. Not sure what I'm going to put up here on the little patio. I might try to make a little fairy table up there. But yeah, I have a little more I want to do, make some more trees like this. I did get the start of making my little old lady in the shoe fairy lady. And I am going to, since I already have this store-bought little porcelain wagon, I probably will use it as a frame and go ahead and cover it with the paper mache clay. I did kind of want to put some chickens, some kind of animals. I do have some dogs made out of the clay that I made in a mold, but they're only like one-sided, so they'll have to sit up against something like they're leaning up against it. But I was going to make maybe some chickens and all, and I was going to make the frame like I've been making out of aluminum foil and put them on and then cover them with the paper mache clay. But I think that's going to be a little too intricate, so I think I'm going to go ahead. Close, move over. You're knocking my stuff out. Excuse me, the dog is knocking everything over out of the way. I think I'm going to go ahead and make some chickens up out of the air dry clay and hope they don't crack. I'm not sure if I want to do anything on the back side other than have the window in that vine and maybe put a few flowers down here along the bottom of the shoe. But I've got the hole that the candle will go in, and if you remember, I'm using the green bottle, so that should come through green. So yeah, I'm gonna get my chickens made up out of the air dry clay and have some chickens and flowers and get the shoe painted. Maybe, like I said, put a little table up here. I don't know. I wished I could just say, what do you think? And you could give me an answer right now. You know, I can always use a bottle cap to make a little table. Or even, no, I don't think it needs an umbrella sticking out because it's got the overhang of the shingles that I made. Umbrella table. I think a little table might be better. Little table and chair. Yeah, I think I'll put a little table and chair. Like I said, this is the one most intricate I've ever made. As you can see, boy, I have cut a lot of cardboard out to make all the little ins and outs and even the little poles that I made to support the balcony. Lots of little intricate cuts on this one. But it's coming along. So I'm going to get my chickens made up so they can be able to dry. I don't know if I want to try to do my old lady in the shoe fairy up ahead of time or put her on there when I put the clay down and stick her. Might be better if I tried to do her ahead of time, because then I'd be able, because she's kind of hollow up under there. And it might be able to hold the shape a lot better if I do her ahead of time. Well, take a nap, little fairy old lady in her shoe. I'm not going to make kids for you. I'm going to make chickens. So you could be the old lady in the shoe that had so many chickens she didn't know what to do. Okay, I did get my chickens made out of the air dry clay. Remember, this is fairyland. It's fantasy stuff, so they're not perfect chickens, but yeah, chickens and little baby chickens. You know, I made one head up and one head down. I did go ahead and use the air dry clay to make the head on my old lady fairy. Didn't mean for her to look so mean, but when you have arthritis in your hands, sculpting details anymore is not the easiest thing to do. But I'm going to go ahead and start putting a little air dry clay on her so she can finish drying out. Not real sure if I need to do much else to this except starting to put the air dry clay on it. I do know I want to make a little table for up here, and maybe this size. Yeah, that'll make the little table for up there, and use some of the pieces of cardboard. I actually may use some of these little pieces of cardboard since I have so many. I don't know if it would work to make it kind of look like grass or weeds. I hate to see them go to waste. I hate to waste anything. You know, that's why I'm doing this. It's definitely recycling at its finest. Recycling at its finest, using bottles and pieces of cardboard and well, the aluminum foil actually is new, and the paper clay, you know, I made the paper clay, but still, the bottles and stuff is basically getting things recycled, so it doesn't have to go. But yeah, I do. Yeah, that kind of doesn't look too bad if I kind of pin this up along here and make it look like some grass to go along with this little tree that I made. Like I said, I do have some air dried flowers and stuff that's gonna come out to go on it, but that won't go on until I start putting the paper clay on it, which is going to be really quick, real soon. Paper clay time. Yeah, see how that's gonna work on these shingles and stuff. So yeah, but I am going to go ahead and put some paper clay, my paper clay on her, at least to her skirt. So when it gets time to sit her in there, she'll sit in there a little easier. And then I'll just have to smooth it out with some paper clay to make her sit. So, yep, still working on the old lady fairy and the shoe that had so many chickens she didn't know what to do. They've been applying my layer of paper clay to the shoe, as you can see, getting that texture in. This right here is one of the flowers that I made out of the air dry clay. I was going to show you the difference. I tried using the silicone molds that I had made, and this is what I come up with using the paper clay. Just not very pretty, you know. This is what I come up using the store-bought air dry clay. Much more detailed and much more showing the design. So I do not think I want to be using the air dry clay in the silicone molds anymore. This was the doggy. You can see how sharp it took out, and I did the doggy and the air versus the air dry clay. I mean, excuse me, versus the paper clay. Yeah, big difference in what I'm getting out of the silicone molds. So I will be using. In fact, I just ordered some more off of Amazon today because, as you know, I made my little chickens. Right now, I worked on the side. There's a kitty that's done out of the air dry clay. And I'm doing some mushrooms to kind of fill in these spots along the side. I'm making my mushrooms, shaping them basically out of aluminum foil, and then on them I can go ahead and use the paper clay on them to get the shape I want on them. So this is where we're at so far on doing this. You know, hadn't got up here to these shingles yet. That's going to be fun putting the paper clay over them. But yeah, shoe is still continuing to be one of the most detailed. There's my little X's for the shoelaces. The most detailed fairy house I've made so far. Yeah, I have all my paper clay on the old lady and the shoe fairy house. Time to start putting some gesso on it. I actually made up my own gesso for this one. It's just it's Elmer's glue and the stuff you put on the walls, the plaster stuff. Joint compound, that's what it is. Yeah. I incorporated a lot of my flowers that were made, and this is a kitty down here, that had been made out of the air dry clay. Some of the things I did not put on this one, and I made mushrooms. The mushrooms were basically made from aluminum foil. The one thing I did not put on this one was, you know, on the balcony, I was going to try to put a little table and chairs, but that wasn't working out. So it's hard to tell now until I get it painted. But there's a little Yorkie dog, and its bed in that window. And I did mushrooms around here, and here's the old lady fairy, which her head I did out of the clay, the air dry clay, so I could get a little more detail in it. But her wings and her body are done with paper and aluminum foil and the paper clay. And these are the chickens down here that I did out of the air dry clay ahead of time. I was going to cover this little wheelbarrow cart with some paper clay and incorporate it, but as you see, it was getting a little crowded, so I decided just to put one of the chickens up here on the steps and leave it at the steps. And over here, some more of the flowers that it will show up better once it gets painted, that was made out of the air dry clay. And I free sculptured for this little back flower box. On the back side, I free sculptured some flowers, which I hope look better after I paint them, because they don't look so good right now. But hopefully, after I paint, they'll look better. And the mushroom, and somewhere, like right up here, if you can see, there's two little lovebirds. So yeah, there's going to be some tedious painting on this going on for a lot of these little flowers and all, because I want them to be very colorful. Since the basic shoe is brown, you know, I want the vines and the flowers and stuff to be really, really colorful to show up. I am going to try a different technique when I get to painting the shoe and see if it works. Since I want it to be an old looking shoe, I'm going to try doing it where I paint it with one color, put the Elmer's glue on it, let it kind of dry a little bit, and then repaint over it. And hopefully the second layer of different color will do the crackledy old look. I don't know. I may try just a little spot somewhere and see if that's going to work out before I try to cover this whole shoe. Because I want to start with a darker brown and then have a lighter reddish brown, so that the darker brown would be what would be showing through. And so yeah, so getting ready to give it a coat of gesso. It did turn out, I'm really pleased. Like I said, it's one of the most detailed fairy houses I've made to date, and pretty pleased that I got a good mixture of clay, and it didn't crack. There is not a crack one. It is still a little rough, but the way this gesso that I made is supposed to kind of help even out and smooth out some of the spots. So, yep, I'm going to get that gesso on and get it ready. I'm kind of out in my shop area where I do my detail painting. I've got things kind of lined up out there. I've got a mask and another fairy house that I just barely have gotten started painting on it, but I've just been so busy and I've had company, and I don't know, the weather comes and goes with terrible rain. So yeah, I haven't gotten out there to get my painting done as fast as I have been in here sitting in front of the TV working on stuff. But anyway, I am going to get the gesso on it. Okay, the old fairy lady who had a shoe is out in my shop studio to be painted. I did put a light color coat of gesso on it to kind of smooth it out, but I have found that using the toilet tissue and making the paper clay out of the toilet tissue, there's really not a color issue. As you see on this bright blue roof that I'm doing, it takes the color really well. The mushrooms, the red, yeah, it takes the color really well. Even the metallic gold for the old lady fairy wings took it. I am going to pick out a little spot, maybe like right over in here, because there's a different technique when I get ready to paint the shoe that I want to try on it. But I need to finish getting all of my, I'm going to do blue, the bright blue. I need to get all of that on there first. I do want to use lots of shades of blues and greens on this as more of a nature type, natural type looking deal, except for like my little Yorkie in there, in the Yorkie bed. I'm going to come up with something like that. And maybe I might use some metallics too on it, because it is, after all, a fairy. And fairies should be, in my world, sparkly. I'm going to do more work. I want to give you an update on my old fairy lady and her shoe. I've been doing a little painting on it. There's a lot of details on it, so like that's a kitty right there. So it's taken a little while to get it painted. Let me turn around so you can show you where I'm at. And there's the old lady with her chickens and the mushrooms. I do want to figure out some way to get something on this roof that maybe might give it a look of moss. Maybe use a light green and a dark green and kind of sponge or crinkle up some aluminum foil, or I have actually used a plastic grocery bag one time crinkled up that gives it some texture to give it the look of some moss, an old shoe look. I've been kind of looking at different colors for the shoe. I kind of used that because I wanted a reddish brown, but I didn't like that color, so that's actually the color I wound up using on the mushrooms. because it kind of has a dark and light look to it. So used it. I want to do a little practice place right in here because I think I have an idea for something that's going to give it an older look on the shoe. But the little Yorkie dog got her bed painted. I'll put some detailing in there, maybe some polka dots on that bed and all, but that's going to be fun to get my details on the little Yorkie head. So I will continue on working on my fairy, old lady fairy. The old lady working on the old lady fairy. Yeah, I'm going to continue on it, working on it, and I'll keep you updated. So have a good day. Well, coming along okay on the old shoe fairy house. Getting quite heavy. I'm going to try a different technique on painting the shoe to try to give it an old look. I've made a little test spot right here. This is a dark brown. So what am I got going on here? This is just white glue, Elmer's glue, and we're gonna put some of it, putting it on top of that. I don't think you need too thick of a coat. Okay. Now, we're going to let it dry for just a little bit. Not till it's totally dry. Okay, now it is somewhat dry. So now we're going to take our lighter color of brown and put a coat over this. You can see it, the lights. Turn it this way, that's the lights in it better. Okay, this is my lighter color of brown. Kind of want a nice thick coat on it. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. If it doesn't work out the way I want it, I'm just painting the shoe. This actual color, I didn't want it to be the dark brown. Okay, so now we have that on there. And if I can reach over here, we're supposed to get a hairdryer. So pardon the noise, but let's see if this works. What it actually is supposed to do is make your top coat paint kind of crackle, is what I'm hoping for, revealing the darker color paint up under it. So if it works, I thought that would actually maybe give the old shoe an older look to it. But so far I see nothing happening at all. And I see no crackling of the paint. Well, doodlebugs. I really wanted this to work. Maybe it's just not dry enough yet. I still see some shining. Oh well. Definitely dry over in there. Crackle, crackle, come on. Can you see some crackling of that paint? No. No, don't see any crackle. Well, I'm not going to bore you with putting this dryer on it. So I'm going to turn off the camera and all. continue to see if it crackles by holding the dryer on it and let you know. It's totally dry and it didn't crackle. Well, it tried to crackle. And get the camera to focus. It did try to crackle a little bit, but not as I hoped it was. But I still kind of like that effect. It did kind of give it like a runny effect. See right there, right there, it tried to crackle a little. So, I don't know what I did wrong, but I do kind of like it with the dark brown up under the lighter brown, and then put the glue on it. It kind of gives it a weird, different type of look, maybe a little more older look. So I think I am going to do that around the rest of it, except in all the little parts like that where my vines are. I'm just going to leave them as is. I'm doing some finishing up on the old lady fairy in the shoe. If I can get the camera to focus, what I'm doing is I'm actually putting some very watered down black over the painting. I've already put a coating of the matte varnish. There's a hair, but yeah, let me show you on the birds. See, well, darn hair, come off of their hair. I don't want a hair. It looks like it's really stuck. Okay. The birds were just yellow, but by putting this black on it, it brings out the details in them. And on the lighter blue, it's bringing out the details. So I'm going to do it all over it, and I put it on. Like I said, it's very watered down. I put it on, let it sit for just a couple of seconds, and then wipe it off. And still debating if I want to put another coating of the matte varnish, which is going to kind of look like this up here, as opposed to this side. You can see how the black kind of dulls it down, comparing the two sides on the roof, and brings out the shadowing and the texture in it, and the roof shingles. So I don't know, I was going to put the matte finish on it again, another coat of that, but I'm kind of thinking with my glitzy old fairy lady, maybe I want to go ahead and put the shiny finish on it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe, because it is a fantasy fairy house shoe. So, well, let me get the rest of my black wash on it, because hopefully it'll bring out all the details in the chickens, and bring out the details in here. You can see I kind of got my mat in there a little thick, but I'm going to go ahead and finish covering it with the black and wiping it down and letting it dry, and decide whether I want it to be shiny or matte. Well, I've gotten the black overlay over it, and my hand too. It really does show up old wrinkles, as you can see in the old hands. But yes, it gives the old shoe a real old look. I wished I'd have done this first than wasting my time when I tried to do the crackle paint on it. I have decided, since it kind of dulled the paint down from my nice bright colors, that I will use a gloss varnish on it when all the black dries up, to kind of make the colors pop a little bit again. I am going to, I didn't paint the bottom of it because I'm going to put felt on the bottom of it. So I'll still have that to do. So yeah, it's going to sit out here and make sure it dries real good, and then I'll put the glass varnish on. Meanwhile, I think I'm going to paint on my paper clay doxy dog that I made. This is one of the ones I did not show how I did it. I just started doing it. So anyway, I'm going to paint on him a little bit, and when that shoe dries, get a good coat of gloss on it, filling in all the nooks and crannies so it's very well protected. Get the felt on the bottom and get some good pictures of it, because it will go out to the Saturday Night Live auction house, too big to ship. And then we'll get some more projects going. Thanks for watching. All finished. The old lady in the shoe. One of my most detailed projects to work on and do. And got the chickens and the old lady that I tried to make a nice little face on. And the windows and front side and the old tarnished look to the shoe itself. And up here on this little patio, we got the little Yorkie dog sitting in there. And on this side we have more mushrooms everywhere, and one kitty cat. But mushrooms all the way around on these sides. I said it's the old fairy lady in a shoe. She had so many mushrooms she didn't know what to do. So she grew them, dried them, chopped them, then smoked them. Now the old lady, fairy lady in the shoe could care less about anything else. That was a fun thought that came to my mind almost every time I worked on it. On this side I have just a flower box up at the top with some flowers in it. The mushrooms. But yeah, I did turn you over. I did put felt on the bottom, glue strings. So what I want to do now is I'll turn off the lights and see if I can get it, reach over here, see if I can get it dark enough, because I'm going to use one of the little battery operated tea lights in it, up in it. I'm thinking I may order some of the battery operated fairy lights instead of just the one little tea light candle, because if you remember, I did a green bottle in here. You know, I just noticed something that I still need to do before I turn the lights off. I still have to clean these windows up. Oh, I guess I've avoided that because I don't do windows. But yep, I need to get my cotton swab and clean the windows up first. And then I'll turn the light off and just put this in. But as I was saying, I was thinking about getting the teeny fairy lights so I could push them up into here further, because it needs to glow not only up in here, it needs to glow this way too. So yeah, but let me get those windows cleaned. I will clean them for you. And then I'll put the little candle in it and we'll see how much it lights it up. Here it is with the lights turned off. you can see the soft glow of that battery candlelight in there. This is the front door window. Doesn't really show green. So yeah, maybe a string of those little fairy lights pushed up in there may show it. But the fairy lights would be on all the time, and you would not have that flickery like I'm getting with the tea light candle. Here we'll turn it around. This is the window up toward the front. It kind of looks green. This is the window that has the little Yorkie dog in it, and still can see that flicker of the candle that high up. So maybe that's okay. Like I said, it is a bit green looking. You look down in there, and here is the back side with all the mushrooms. The back window, and up toward the front you see the flickery glow, and the last side, the side that had the flower box in it. Yeah, you can pretty much see the green through there, so I guess it's okay with the battery tea light candle. This is another one of my fairy houses that will go to the Saturday night auction. I have decided I'm going to wait until closer to the holiday season, because people would probably be more apt to want to spend a little more money on a unique gift idea. And these are different. They're all made. After that, I have, let me see, I have about maybe 5 that are big, like this shoe. I'm working on the sandcastle one now, hoping to finish it up pretty soon. But I have about 5 of them that are pretty big sized, that I would not want to mess with shipping. So they'll all go out to the Saturday night auction. So I hope you enjoyed the making of, or the crafting of, or the sculpting of, whatever you like to call it, with paper, clay, and a little of the air dry clay, because the chickens were made out of air dry clay, and some of the old lady was made out, like her hair and her wings was made out of air dry clay. But the crafting of the old fairy lady in the shoe, who had so many mushrooms she didn't know what to do, so she just smoked them. Oh boy, you can tell I'm a child of the 60s. Anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It's the same channel that I use to advertise my eBay finds and my eBay treasures on, and the same name of my eBay store, which I'll put down in the descriptions, a link to it, but it's SB55 Shoppe, SHOPPE, and you can find it at .com too. So yeah, give me any comments, likes, dislikes, nothing nasty though. You know, keep those remarks to yourself. I know we're all feeling a little stressed right now with our stay-at-home orders and having to wear masks everywhere we go. So yeah, we're all a little stressed, but just, you know, enjoy it for what it is, and the fact that it was something I had learned how to do, playing with the paper clay during the stay-at-home, during the pandemic of 2020, which I hope will be over with soon. So anyway, I want everyone to have a wonderfully blessed day. Stay safe, wear your mask, do your social distancing, wash your hands, because I don't want to lose anybody. All life matters to me, so please take care of yourself, stay safe.